Hi, and welcome to this month's Mortgage Broker Broadcast. My guest this month is Robert Rusu from MySocialGoals, and I wanted to get Rob onto the podcast because he's doing a lot in terms of the digital marketing space and he's niching in the world of mortgage broking. So I wanted to get Rob onto the podcast just so he can explain a bit more about him, his business, his background, what he's doing within the industry, and why he sort of decided to specialize in mortgage broking and what sort of foundations he's building his business on, and really what is important to him and why he's doing it. And I think the best way to do that is to get Rob onto the podcast so he can explain more. So yeah, let's just get Rob onto the podcast. So welcome onto the podcast, Rob. How are you?
Thanks for having me here, Craig. I'm very well. What about you?
Good. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very good. Excited to have a chat with you and talk about a bit about you and your journey and your business and what you do, which we'll get into a lot of detail about. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm very good. And no, I appreciate you coming onto the podcast. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting episode to record. And because I know you sort of, I'm going to do the introduction, but the thing is, there's no agenda, so I'm going to literally go off on a tangent straight away because you are working with a few people that I work with as well in terms of their digital presence, shall we say, and
Yeah,
their content. So I've seen firsthand what you've done, what you do, and it's been impressive so far in terms of that. So I appreciate you coming to the podcast to talk a bit
thank
more.
you.
So is this your first podcast you've been on, or are you sort of seasoned pro, or?
Yeah, actually, it's my first ever podcast, so I'm pretty excited to see what it's about.
Okay, good. So I'm sorry for this is your first experience of podcast. That could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but we'll sort of see. So do you want to just give before we get into a lot more detail about what you do you want to just give a brief introduction about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Robert Rusu. I founded My Social Goals in July 2023. I've got 4 years of experience in digital marketing and website development. And pretty much my journey way over here was to try and make business owners have a more productive workflow and also take the stress away from client acquisition.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to delve into that and talk a lot more about in terms of so you so you are, like I say, the business owner of My Social Goals. How did you get into sort of like the whole digital marketing world? How did you get into it, and sort of why? What is it? Why is that something interests you?
So the journey starts since I was in school in year nine. I've done my first ever website, and the thing like having my work displayed all over the internet was something amazing for me, and it actually stuck with me for a pretty long time. So trying to do something for myself and work for myself, I started the agency last year. Um,
Right.
I wasn't doing websites. I was doing social media marketing for home improvement companies, such as Facebook ads and other ads on social media. However, throughout the journey, I noticed that it's something missing, and I kind of reconnected with my old self. So I introduced website development, and since January, it's been working pretty well, and the things that I planned for myself are starting to come true.
Wow, that's it's slightly different from the sort of initial police. Was that in the police? Is that were you trained to be a police officer first of all? Is that sort of how you what you were doing before you started this?
Yes, I was trying to do a side hustle while I was working with the police. I've been in British Transport Police cadets. Um,
Right.
I don't know if there's any cadets branches or from British Transport Police around you, but it was a bit more for experience, and also because I always had a dream of becoming a police officer since I was 5. So
Right.
I I tried to pursue this journey. However, things weren't going as planned, and I noticed so many downsides compared to the positives ones. So I just thought I'm going to do something for myself, and try and scale it up.
Excellent. And so that's when My Social Goals sort of started. Is that was that always sort of? I'm guessing it wasn't always part of the plan in terms of doing that, because obviously you from 5 years old, you said that's when you sort of thought that thought you were going to be a police officer, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm guessing so that was the initial plan in terms of what you're going to do with your career, slightly different in terms of digital marketing. So your inspiration
Yeah.
was around you seeing your work, you seeing your websites out there on the internet, and seeing what you created, really.
Yeah. I was proud of my work, and I was proud to get it out there.
And that's you should be proud of what you've achieved so far. Your work is really, really good, and that's why I wanted to get you on the podcast, so people make you are aware about what you're doing. And so when you look at, you started out with sort of Facebook ads and doing that kind of thing, you've sort of progressed from there. So what is it that you are offering now, rather than just, are you still doing Facebook ads, or are you doing different things? What's My Social Goals? What's the offering that you've got?
Right now, we're just starting to get on track with everything. We've changed niches recently to the mortgage broker industry, and at the moment we're creating websites and offering a complete marketing blueprint, which is going to include Google ads and social media ads for mortgage brokers. But that's only when we know that we've got everything handled, and
Right.
we know we can get results.
Okay, so you're growing everything very grounded on solid foundations, which is the important thing. Definitely,
Yeah.
Rob. Definitely. So in terms of when you look at, so at the moment it's very much centered around website. Are you looking at, is it total new creation for brokers, or are you brokers that have got existing websites and you're looking to enhance those even more, or a mixture of both, or what kind of clientele you're working with?
From my actual experience, I've been redesigning websites. I never offered a website to someone who didn't have any websites.
Okay.
I can say that I'm pretty well at critiquing websites to see what I can improve on them, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing audits on websites and offering them a better solution to not waste money on ads on low converting websites, so they can have everything settled for them to grow online.
Okay. And I think, like you say, I've seen your work so far in terms of what you've done with existing websites and enhancing them. So that must be a good feedback for you, and sort of pleasing in terms of from what you're sort of saying from a creative mindset point of view.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling good in terms of what you've achieved so far.
I think yes, because to be honest, I don't really see many people my age doing and achieving this sort of stuff. I'm actually turning 18 in a couple of months, so
Wow.
it,
Wow.
it,
I didn't realize that. Wow.
I know I started younger than usual.
Wow, that's like sort of a bit of a shock from there, because I didn't realize how old you are. I didn't realize, so in terms of that, like now I'm thinking, you're definitely the youngest guest that I've ever on the
Yeah,
podcast. So you've done that, definitely, Rob, definitely. And you're actually, when did you turn 18?
in October.
Okay, so you're actually a
Yeah.
year younger than my son as well, which makes me feel even worse. You probably, I've done a bit of work with with high school students and things like that, about preparing for interviews and things like that. So
Yeah.
but I've never done quite a bit of work from that point of view. I've never interviewed someone on the podcast before. So wow, so what you've achieved so far, that's like amazing. Like, it is such a good thing that you've sort of done, and you're level-headed and grounded in terms of what you're trying to achieve. And I want to come on to niche and mortgage broker in a second,
Yeah.
but would you say you're quite a structured, level-headed individual and sort of grounded in that kind of way?
I noticed this about myself, that I've always had a more mature mindset than other people around me. That's why I didn't really get along with everyone my age, and I was trying to have conversation with older people. For example, at school, I was always talking with the teachers instead of other students,
Right.
and I've always been a bit different. Like before my social goals, I started edge developing. It wasn't a registered company. It was still with websites. I was trying to create websites for people, but obviously, when you're younger and you don't know many things about business, you're gonna fail. But it was a learning curve for me from there.
Don't, I'm guessing it will be, given what you've sort of
Yeah.
what you've gone through. So, what when you look at, so obviously in your head from 5 years old, I'm going to be in the police force in some sort of guise, to then sort of finding digital marketing and then thinking, actually, this is what I want to do, and this motivates me sort of far more. And then quickly moved into the niching with mortgage brokers. So how did that come about?
It's a bit weird, but um, what I know is that I got my first client in the mortgage broker industry, which was Chris, in January, and I just enjoyed trying because the business is highly regulated, and you have there are many turnarounds, how to market yourself and things like that. And I thought that I'm going to develop a solution for them, and not let them waste any money or have any complications with any regulations on certain social media channels, for example. And even improving mortgage brokers' workflow. For example, digital forms for mortgage fact find form. I integrated one for Chris, and he said that it saves a lot of time, and it's been a great implementation on his website. And all these all these things that I accomplished working with Chris made me think about actually niching down, because I was going dynamic. I was trying to work with whoever was coming to me. Right now, for example, I still have a law firm and a business coach that I'm working with.
Right.
So yeah, this is how I changed niches. I try to develop a solution to client acquisition and a stressless workflow.
And I think it is, you're absolutely right. From a mortgage broker point of view, it is a highly regulated environment and sort of industry that we're in. And I think when you look at that's sort of stressful enough in terms of, from a mortgage brokers, just dealing with the clients day to day, dealing with what the lenders and the providers day to day, and the challenges that face. So
Hmm.
so for you, and we're trying to take the stress out as brokers, we try and take stress out of, from a client's point of view, of the house buying process, the home buying process, or remortgaging, or whatever part of it. So what you're sort of saying in terms of the taking the stress out from the digital marketing point of view and from the website point of view, is that is sort of a lot of that, the words and what you're sort of saying will sort of resonate with the brokers, because they'll understand that they need somebody to. I've always sort of said that
Hmm.
we're talking about websites initially, like
Yeah,
right this second, but so I've always said you need a website, well, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you always need that website, which is your shop front to the world, whether you've
yeah,
got a high street location or whether you're just online. Because the first thing that you will do, whether, and this is just you are obviously the expert, this is just my take on it, with, if you are approaching estate agents, or you're on Facebook, or you're trying to promote yourself and promote your content, one of the
yeah,
first things that clients will do is just Google you. Potential clients will do is just Google you. They will Google about who you are. And if you've got no presence, or your presence, I've seen a lot of mortgage brokers' websites when you're
yeah,
thinking, wow, you're looking to see, like, you are smiling now because you're thinking, So first of all, the opportunity for you is huge, which is just a side thing in a
Yeah.
second. But I see some of the brokers, I'm thinking, why would you actually think that that's okay to put? That's your advert. That's what goes out on Google. That's what's going to come up when somebody sees. So if you're approaching a estate agent to work with them as an introducer,
Hmm.
and you're connected with them on social media, you're liking the posts, you're in line with what their values are, and then your website looks good and you've got a good account of yourself, they're more likely to work with you when whether they do Google you and they can't find your website, or they get their, so the 404, like this is the 404 message, or like it's sort of like, oh, wait, did you say maintenance or being updated or whatever? It just doesn't look good. So yeah, and brokers don't, because they focus on clients, and
Yeah.
they may have got, the thing is, like with as well with brokers, that they will have, they've got existing clients, they've got an existing client bank and think it's okay, I'm all right doing what I'm doing, I've got existing clients, I'm okay treading along in water and things like that. But having that website there, even if it's just, I'll ask you this question in a second actually.
Yeah.
My thought is like, is it important as a broker to have one page, just to making sure you've got a landing page that looks decent, or do you think you need to have 2 pages, 5 pages, 10 pages? What's your take on that?
So, first of all, I like to think of a website as your 24/7 salesman that's working and it's up there all day and every day. But initially, especially when you're starting off, I think a landing page is the minimum requirement. So at least someone, a visitor, can see who you are, what you do, and how you can help them, and also try and push on their pain points to see if you can, like, if it's the right broker to work with. Um, However, if you are looking to scale, I suggest a multiple pages website. Or for example, having different landing pages for different services that you provide, starting from remortgage or first-time buyers, etc.
So I think, like you say, I agree with you. I think it's a 24/7. Like so you say, it is there constantly. Whether that's, you just got to make sure that that's looking right and portraying the right image for you and your business. So just so with with regards to other things, like you're doing websites, you're enhancing mortgage brokers' websites and making them look a little bit more inviting, shall we say, and
Mhm.
consumer friendly. So you talked a little bit there about helping with process as well. So I'll come back to, because I look at your website and thought, from a business point of view, thinking I want to know about the Google review app that we'll come on to in a second. But first of all, I just wanted to look at, with regards to the process aspect of it. You say you're helping brokers with fact find. Is that what, something like an online fact find, or is that something you're looking to do, or you've done already?
Yeah, I've done it for Chris. It's a mortgage fact find form directly onto his website. So him and his clients can access it via a password, and they can input their details straight away without having to spend time with fillable PDFs or even doing anything by hand. So it all comes on your website, and you can just copy and paste it into your CRM that you're using as a broker.
Right. Okay. And I think that, like you said, that's a massive benefit from a broker's point of view, to streamline process and making sure that things are, yeah. But I know brokers that do use online fact finds, or use something similar when they do, like they'll use bookings or Calendarly, and they'll do
Hmm.
some automation with regards to sending out. If you've got something, so it sits on the website, it's literally on the website, and the client can complete it, and then
Yeah.
you've, Chris has got a lot more details when he's first reaching out to the clients.
Yeah, and another positive to it is Chris was, for example, he was trying to have a mortgage fact find form with a company called Jot Forms. They provide online forms securely. However, the subscription was quite expensive, starting from £40 per month plus, I think. And
Right.
having that form directly onto your website and you only pay the hosting for your website, nothing else. I think it's another positive that you're not spending on unnecessary things.
No, definitely, definitely, and especially when you're first starting out as a mortgage broker, if you are sort of setting up your own business and your own firm and your own brand, cash flow is king. So anything that little things that spending out monthly subscriptions, I know brokers that will set out and go, yeah, I'm paying that per month, I'm paying that, I'm paying that. When actually, when you break things down, you said, well, do I really need that? And it's not until a few
Yeah,
months in that you're thinking, actually, do I need that now? Do I need that? And so, yeah, cash is sort of very important when you first sort of starting out. So if you can improve and help with that, then absolutely. So all positive
yeah,
so far, Rob. So talk to me about this. One of the things I want to talk about Google reviews and how you're helping brokers get reviews. Because the thing is,
yeah.
as I've always said, reviews are key from a business point of view. Feedback from the client, first of all, is vital. Then also as well, sort of having that. Obviously, Google reviews will help with your overall exposure from your
Reputation. Yeah.
website, your business, and leads and everything like that. So reviews are massive. So how are you helping brokers streamline their process with regards to reviews?
So at the moment, we've developed a free app. It makes it easy to send a pre-written text with a custom link. Or if you're in person, you can show a QR code with your logo on for your clients to scan, and it takes them directly onto your favorite review platform. It can be Trustpilot or Google, and
Okay.
they can leave reviews. Um, we are currently trying to work out some automations, so you don't have to send the SMS or email manually, and you can schedule or even upload a list of your customers so you can send out each one by one.
Okay. Wow. So in terms of, it doesn't really matter what platform you're using. You can use this app for Trustpilot, Google. It doesn't
Yeah,
really matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. It's for mobile. It's for mobile phones. It works with Android and iOS. So I can show you right here. I've got it on my home screen. So this is the app. Hopefully,
Yep, I
it's
can see
being
that. Yeah,
able to
yeah,
see. So if you
yeah.
want to send a text, you press on SMS. You're gonna put the phone number in, and here it's a pre-written text with a custom a shorter link that takes
Okay,
them to your reviews platform.
okay. Wow. So I'm sort of blown away so far with in terms of what you've sort of doing, but I don't think that I've just got a feeling that because you are so grounded, Rob, in terms of what you're doing. So you obviously know what you're good at, and you're not trying to. You're just trying to build on what you already do. So websites is the starting point with this, and I know
Yeah,
you're looking at fact finding, looking at apps, looking at various things. So I can sort of see that the future is there's going to be lots of different things, but you're building it on solid foundations. Is that right? That's clear for me to
yeah,
see.
yeah. The thing is, I'm not trying to make some little bit of money on the side. I'm trying to build something that will last while helping others. That's pretty much my life motto. I like helping people. So yeah, I'm looking at things that I already know, and then if I think I know everything, which I clearly don't, I'm trying to look what I can improve on the things I already have or things that I can introduce.
Okay. So what have you got any sort of without going into too much detail? So we've got you can help brokers with the website, starting there, and then looking at other things. In terms of future for you and your business, without giving too much away, like is there sort of things that you've got going on, or what does the future look like for you and my social goals?
It's I kept thinking about this, but nothing is really solid at the moment because I'm still basically a startup. However, we are currently in our list of services. We're trying to improve online visibility, reputation, social media management, and also Google My Business profile management. So,
Okay.
what we're trying to aim for is to take care of everything that comes into digital marketing, like your social media presence and other online platforms that you're using, so you can have the time to close more deals and also deliver your actual service. Because those are things that are already stressful enough. Why would you have to worry about online presence as well if you can do something about it?
I think that's the thing is like is with brokers, it's always something that gets put off because we get I as a financial services business owner, you get upteen emails, upteen approaches every single day. We can do this, we can do that, we can do the
Mm,
other, and we guarantee this and we guarantee that. And I think, and they just go straight into my
spam.
junk, my bin,
Yeah.
like they just go literally because you just get inundated with it day in, day out. But what I like about what you're saying and why that I wanted to get you on the podcast and to get a little bit to know you a little bit more, because I think because you are right, like from a broker's point of view, they will just put they either do it or they don't do it, and they might not be sure that they're doing everything. So they might be really good on social media, but then not good on website or Google My Business. As I think that's sort of something that I thought about there when you were saying it. So they
Hmm.
might be good at one thing, but and they've got enough time worrying about the business, worrying about converting the clients, worrying about providing the service, worrying about what lenders are doing and all the rest. There's a lot of things going on in a broker as well. So if they can put their trust in you in terms of and looking after the everything with it, and rather than having right, I deal with somebody that they deal with my social media, they deal with my website, I do this myself. You've got
Mm,
that. It's got that one-stop kind of place where do you know what you've got that relationship and trust is massive. So if you've got that one person that you know that you've got that relationship with, you know and trust what they're doing, and they've got your best interests at heart. Like it is about you're not looking to like I've seen it with like one of the things I always talk about is like over promising and under delivering. I've seen it umpteen times with
yeah,
web developers and things like that, where I sort of like there's somebody that I coach who's had like a massive issue with a web developer, and it's just taken so long to get it looking like they want it to look, and it's just but it's always been jargon. It's always been blinding the broker, the business owner with loads of jargon and like yeah, blinded by science or whatever you want to however you want to look at it.
yeah,
Whereas brokers just want to like as a mortgage broker, you're giving your clients jargon free advice. So we love jargon as brokers, but when we're with our clients don't want to be sort
yeah,
of not understanding what's going on. They want total clarity and if they understand without all the jargon and they've got clarity in terms of what you're doing as a mortgage broker to help them buy the house or move home or whatever, it's then that needs that broker looks for replication of that when they're looking for social media or their digital marketing as a whole, because you can baffle them with science. And as human beings, we don't like to be seen to be vulnerable. We don't like to be seen that we don't know
yeah,
things. And that's how we are as human beings.
yeah,
So, but you've got that quite a good sort of outlook on that in terms of you don't want to be that person. You're very, like, I'm getting that from you, Rob. Is that fair to say?
yeah, yeah. Obviously, um, yeah. I personally, you said about over promising and under delivering. Since I started my agency, I've always looked on YouTube videos, and one thing that really stuck with me is to under promise and over deliver. So you can get that trust. And I'd rather get a little money upfront than having to rip that person off, so I know that I can help them. on the journey.
Okay. So, and that's a great way to build up that trust initially, because that's the way that from a broker's point of view, that's what they want to hear. That it's a case of what we'll do. Obviously, we'll make sure we're tagging we'll put in every profile that you've got and things like that. We'll come on to that
Hmm.
in a second, but it's just a good refreshing for somebody to have that kind of, because it is your business. You are trying to grow this. You are trying to grow this for the long term. You are trying to build this business up. But for you, it's all about grounding. It's all about foundations. And it's all because you are building this for long term and building trust with brokers, because that we do need this within the industry in terms of, because there's a lot of people that are not in the industry thinking, oh, I need to, like, working with brokers on their websites and things like that, but don't get our world, don't get our regulation, don't get the challenges that we face day to day. But you clearly understand that and are helping and supporting brokers to bridge that gap, really.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm trying to do is, if I'm with a prospect or a client, I'm not trying to get too much into the technical stuff, but actually the outcomes that comes from the actual service. Because as you said, we about blinding with science. If you're gonna sit there and talk about like the technical aspects of Google Ads, for example, first of all, the client might not understand exactly what you're saying, and you might and like he doesn't have that opportunity to grow because he doesn't clearly understand what he's going into. So with me, it's all about making that process simpler and putting into human language, if you can call it like that way, because obviously there are loads of different words for in the digital marketing aspect. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to do, to offer a simpler way to grow without the technical stuff.
Excellent. Rob, I think that's a really good way to end the podcast. I think, like, sort of giving, like, and I'm sort of sat thinking, I'm sure brokers are sat thinking, well, it's been a great interview, but in terms of working with you and looking at how you can help and support mortgage brokers, from everything that you've said, it's just a great attitude that you've got with regarding the industry and really helping
Thank you.
support brokers with regards to the digital marketing. So, Rob, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being very open, honest, and giving a true, genuine account of yourself. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sort of seeing you grow and your business move forward, and like sort of, yeah, and sort of seeing where you can take My Social Goals and how you develop that, and like seeing you have a bit of a foothold in the industry, shall we say. So yeah, but Rob, thank you so much
Hopefully.
for your time.
Thank you for having me here, Craig.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for being a guest on the podcast. Really good episode to record. I think it's great to hear, very refreshing to hear from a digital marketing point of view, what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, your values, and the foundations you're building business on. So really appreciate it. It was good to record the podcast, and it's great to share the podcast to the mortgage broker world. So thank you to everyone who's listening, subscribing, leaving reviews on about the podcast. So any thoughts, comments, or guest suggestions, then as always, please leave them on the platforms you listen to the podcast, or on YouTube if you watch it on there, as always. And please subscribe to this. As you know, I have now a daily podcast. So the Mortgage Broker broadcast is now a monthly podcast, continuing with my daily podcast, which is the Morning Mindset. Been out now for a little while, every single day. So please make sure that you subscribe to that, and also liking and sharing and reviewing. If the more mortgage brokers that I can reach out to, both with this podcast and that podcast as well, will just really help the industry. So thank you very much for that. If you are considering becoming a self-employed mortgage broker, or you're looking to start your own mortgage broker brand and business, or you're looking to accelerate your growth of your existing business, then please see my website, craigskelton.co.uk. It explains a little bit more of how I can help and support you to achieve your goals, what you're trying to do, and your objectives, and helping to get there in a help and support environment. So yeah, please check that out. And as always, don't forget to run your own race.